Hi class, how are you all doing? I hope that each of you is well as we get ready to start week 2. I wanted to take a few minutes to address a few kind of housekeeping things as we get ready for week 2. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is discussion boards. I'm really happy with the level of activity that's going on the discussion boards, especially because we had a lot of movement this week. I really was not expecting to see so much movement with enrollment. As you know, up until Friday was the last day to drop our ad, and so we had a lot of students moving in and out of the class, and I just wasn't expecting that amount of movement. And with the way I have the group set up, every time someone joins the class, I don't get any notice that someone has joined the class. So I just happen to see on Canvas that someone has joined, and I have to manually add them to a group. So I know that there have been several students who didn't have a group for quite some time when they first got logged into the class, and then Canvas has a little bit of a lag for when you join the versus when you register for the class before Canvas recognizes that you're in the class and enrolls you on Canvas. So with that being said, I have gotten a lot of emails this week about, am I going to be penalized for just joining the class with the discussion boards? Because several people missed the part 1 or part 2 deadlines. And as you all know from reading the syllabus and the guidelines, if you miss part 1, you pretty much can't do part 3 either. So I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people who are not going to be able to complete part 3. So with that being said, what I believe that I'm going to do is this. I believe, and if I change my mind about this, I will send you guys an email or an announcement about it. I believe that I'm going to go and look through the discussion boards and see who has made a legitimate attempt to interact with the discussion boards in some way. And everyone who has interacted with the discussion boards for discussion board 1 for module 1 will get 20 points worth of credit. I just don't feel comfortable with penalizing people for not having access to the discussion boards. So I may even get really nice and give everyone just that first 20 points to just get started because we've had so much movement. So I'm going to continue to think on that, and I'll kind of finalize that in an announcement. So because it's Sunday evening that I'm making this, so I'll have a decision made by Monday evening, and I'll send you guys an announcement about what I'm going to do. So I'm either going to give everyone who's made an effort to contribute to the discussion board for module 1 20 points, or I may just give everyone who's currently enrolled in the class 20 points because there's just been so many issues with enrollment. So that's the discussion boards. So the next thing I want to talk about is emails. So I'm getting a lot of emails. I expect a lot of emails, but some of the emails that I'm getting are things that I believe that you guys should be asking each other in the discussion board. So I'm sure that some of you guys have heard of the 3 before me policy that some of the professors in the public health department have taken on, which means you need to find or try to find the answer to your question in 3 different ways before you email me. So I'm not going to go that far, but I do want you guys to, when you email me, to tell me what you have done to try to find the answer. I'm getting a lot of questions about how to use certain things on Canvas. Canvas is new to me. I have only been using Canvas this is only my 2nd semester using Canvas, and Canvas is not always my friend. So I know that Canvas is a little bit hard to navigate, especially if you're transitioning from Blackboard and you already are used to kind of the Blackboard way of doing things, and now you're trying to learn Canvas. And Canvas is also overwhelming for people who've never used Blackboard either, or any other type of site like Canvas or Blackboard. So what I want to tell you is Canvas has a large amount of help out there on the internet. All you literally have to do is Google whatever your question is and say Canvas. So I'll put in things like setting up discussion groups on Canvas. and I'll get tons of people who are asking questions about that, step-by-step directions on how to do it. There are videos out there about people using Canvas. So there is a lot of help out there for you all to learn how to navigate Canvas. And so I really would greatly appreciate if you're having issues with navigating Canvas, if you make a legitimate attempt to find out from the internet, or use the question and answer discussion board that's available to all of you all to ask each other how to use Canvas. There are some students who are pros at using Canvas, far better than I will ever be at using Canvas, and they can help you. So utilize your other classmates. So use the discussion question and answer section. That goes not just for how to use Canvas, but for some other general questions that you might have about the assignments. Take the time to ask your classmates, just like you would if you were in class with each other. If you had a question, you lean over to your classmate and ask them a quick question and see if you can get the answer that way. So try. It will really help me to get back to you all as quickly as possible, as well as to really prioritize giving you guys, giving your grading a lot of attention and giving your grading feedback a lot of attention. If you guys can help each other a lot throughout the semester, answering questions, general questions for each other. So another thing that I'm getting a lot of questions about in my emails, which this is the third thing that I want to talk about, is the discussion board rubric. So when I created that rubric, my intention was, it's not that I want you to sit there and look at how to get 5 points and every last single thing on there. If it says you need to make 2 references to literature, that you're sitting there and you're literally going back and adding parts to your discussion posts just so you can feel like you're getting every last single part of a 5 points post. What I want you to concentrate more so on, rather than sitting there with the rubric and trying to align every sentence with your rubric, is to concentrate on making a meaningful contribution. So when I say that, I mean the point system is designed for you to have a guideline. It's not that I'm going to sit there and say, well, I think this is a really well-written post, but they only used one personal reference and they didn't bring in the textbook or anything, so this person's definitely not going to get a 5. It automatically demotes them down to a 3. That's not the way I'm looking at it. I'm using it as a guideline for you all to understand where your grading is coming from, and to also help me be able to point you to somewhere when you have questions about how can you improve your writing and your submissions. So it's more of a guidebook, and I'm not looking for it to line up perfectly. I'm looking for a meaningful post that is, for me, a 5 is a meaningful post that contributes to the conversation, that is factual. So you're not just pulling things from anywhere and misquoting the book. I'm looking for the fact that you're citing, and please realize, saying in the video, the person talks about da 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 da, you need to be citing that because you're referencing something that was not your own words. When you're referencing the textbook, you need to cite that as well. So I've had a lot of questions about that as well, about citing. So excuse me. Yes, I really do intend for you to cite everything that you do in this class if you're using other people's words or you're referencing other materials. Now, I've seen some people, and this happens all the time, where you'll say things like, I once read. Hey, I read a whole lot of things. I'll probably never be able to pull up every New York Times article that I've ever read about something and be able to cite it. But if it's materials that I think that you can get to easily, so if you're referencing the textbook or you're referencing materials that I've given you, point right there, you can cite that. I'm not expecting you to do anything outrageous, but I really want you to make a legitimate attempt to cite your sources, because it really avoids a lot of the issues that students have with unintentional plagiarism, and it gets you used to realizing that when you're talking about things, you're not always using your own words, and so you need to be conscious of that as you guys really gear up to doing some of the larger writing assignments that I know you guys will be doing for other classes. So, you know, as I said, don't look at the rubric to sit there and kind of write your whole post just based off the rubric. So you're going step by step on the rubric and looking in your, I want you to make a meaningful post that's well written, that's thoughtful, that brings in personal experiences, that brings in other things that you've learned from classes, that brings in other things that you've read, where you're citing your sources, you're proofreading, and you're making sure that it's cohesive. You're using paragraphs, so you're not just spewing a whole bunch of stuff out there and it's all discombobulated in one big long paragraph, that you're separating your ideas and you're being conscious about the post that you're making. As well as when you're replying to your classmates, I do not, and I'm seeing this a little bit, you're kind of saying the same thing to multiple students. Contribute something different to every classmate. Yes, many of the posts from your classmates will look the same and they'll be talking about the same things, but bring forth a new idea, and that's what it's supposed to be about. I don't want you to just, you know, because you said something, you know, a comment you made to Sally applies to a comment, applies to something that Zach wrote, you copy and paste basically the same response to them. I really want you to bring something new to the table every time you respond to one of your classmates. So those are some big kind of things that I really wanted to spend some time talking to you about. Again, be sure that you're checking your announcements. I sent out a lot of announcements. Be sure that it is, you can turn in your settings on Canvas, you can turn it to where you receive your announcements ASAP. Some of you may not know that you've got them set to where you actually are only going to receive them once a week or after several posts. So just be mindful, check your settings to see if you've got your if you've got your announcements set to receive them ASAP via your emails. You guys are doing really great with your email etiquette, so I really appreciate that as well. So as you get involved with week 2, know that we do have the discussion board that's going to be due. You're going to have a post that's due on a Tuesday, a post that's due on Friday. Yes, Friday, and then Sunday, and all of those posts are due at 11 p.m. and I'm going to be a stickler about that this week because we shouldn't have any movement in and out of the class. So get your posts turned in on time. Some people are a little confused because the discussion boards don't have a due date that's input into Canvas, but the due dates are right there for you, available on your module. They're also in the syllabus, but I'm not putting a due date because there are 3 due dates for this one assignment every week. So I'm not going to put in there Tuesday at 11 p.m. because as you go to make your post later in the week, it'll mark everything that you turn in as late. And so it gets confusing for me as a grader on the back end. So just follow the syllabus, you know, when things are due. Don't forget that you have quizzes due every Sunday at 11 p.m. So get prepared for those and get ready for those. And I hope that you guys enjoy this week. Don't forget to do your gratitude journal entries because we'll be turning those in a couple of weeks. So I hope you guys are enjoying that so far, and that you keep enjoying it, or you start to enjoy it if you aren't enjoying it quite yet. So I look forward to talking to you all soon. You guys have a great second week. Email me if you have any questions. Use the question and answer discussion board to help each other. And I look forward to talking with you guys. Have a great week. Bye-bye.